Hi guys! Okay, so today we are going to be making goat, and we're going to be using a variety of foraged and non-foraged spices. I'm going to be teaching a class this weekend on cooking with foraging ingredients, and I thought this would be a good time to show you one of my favorite recipes for a whole bunch of different foraged spices. So I got my goat leg from the store earlier today. There's a really great halal market that I use, and we're going to be tossing the goat in this nice Dutch oven. It's going to marinate overnight, maybe another night as well, in the spices to really get the flavor in there. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our wild garlic. So this is some these are some wild garlic bulbs that I picked a little bit earlier in the year, and I am going to throw in a tong full like this. This might be a quarter cup of whole wild garlic bulbs. So I'm going to give them just a quick chop. They smell really good. They've been in the oil since about April or March, I think. I don't exactly remember, but it's before the leaves come out on the trees is when you pick wild garlic from bulbs like this. And they're really good. They're a little bit sweeter than maybe domestic garlic. And the bulb is really just one clove, unlike domestic garlic, which is a lot bigger of a bulb. All right, so in the pot with the goat, the garlic goes. And we're gonna close this top. Next, we're gonna do some salt. And black pepper. Okay. A little bit of olive oil. There's some olive oil on the garlic, so you don't have to use a whole ton. Next, I'm going to start with my foraged ingredients. So I have some pine cones that have been sitting in syrup since I picked them earlier in the year. And some of them are a little tough just for eating, the larger ones especially. I mean, I'll still eat them, but some people say they're a little woody. I guess it's a texture you have to get used to. But they do break down more as you cook them, especially if you cut them up first. And I really like this like sweet, resinous, almost burnt marshmallow kind of flavor that they have. And I'm going to be using some other sort of warm, sweet flavors, and I thought the pine cone would be really kind of nice with some of those more traditional spices. So I'm just giving it a quick chop here. It'll be nice and chopped up, nice and small. And then into the pot we go. Okay. Continuing with our foraged spices, I have some freshly dried spicebush berries over here, and this is my spice grinder. So because this is going to be a rub, we're going to grind them up. So I'm going to put in, let's see, what's that? 5, 6, let's say 12 spicebush berries. What else needs to be ground up? Some cumin seeds. So that's a nice big pinch. Maybe another little bit more. I really like cumin, but you can use less if you don't like it. Then I'm going to put in a cardamom pod, because cardamom is just one of my favorite things. It's such a nice, like, warm, floral spice. Then some fenugreek as well. This is already ground up, but you can get the seeds and grind them if you prefer that. And it's nice. Let's be liberal with that as well. Oh, my hand smells just wonderful. Then coriander seeds, good pour of that. Some celery seeds. Look, this is a nice fresh jar. too much, but some. And then, let's see. Yep, that's it for our spices that need to be ground whole. So we just want to grind these up until it's a nice fine powder, kind of the same coarseness as the fenugreek that I just sprinkled on top. That way they're all kind of the same level of, get to the same level of incorporation in the meat. Okay, that looks good. And then that's going to go right in there as well. Ooh, that smells good. All right. So not all of those were foraged. The ones that were the spicebush berries. But now I'm going to put in some sumac, which I did forage myself. This is a mixture of staghorn and smooth, which I have ground up and powdered and keep in the cabinet for use like this. This is some wild thyme that I foraged. Thyme is not really wild in or native to North America, but it does escape cultivation and can live out in the wild. So I'm going to throw in a little bit of that. I also have some sweet fern leaves, which I have dried. This is a really nice herb. It's really hard to describe what it tastes and smells like. Some people say tarragon, but I think it's got a more mild and sweet flavor than that. And I'm just going to crumple those up and put them in. I also have some northern bay leaves that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take 2 or 3 of those, crumple them up, and add them in. A little bit of crushed red pepper, and then some shaves off of a whole nutmeg. This I think is so much better than the ground. The flavor is more interesting and complex, and the nutmeg seed itself is actually really cool. If you look on the inside, you can see it's all this like weird kind of color, which I think is a lot of fun. And so that little pinch of nutmeg is going to go in there. I'm going to use some turmeric, some whole fresh turmeric. We're going to cut it into rounds first. Okay. That's going to go in there too. Last, I'm going to put some sage in. This is some sage from my mom's garden that I just dried. Also a little bit of dried basil. And then we are going to give this a toss and make sure that all the goat meat gets intact in contact with all the spices, and that this has enough time to marinate and incorporate. That smells really good. I'm going to put in just a little bit more salt. Oh, and you know what I forgot was the absinthe. This is another herb used in Middle Eastern cooking sometimes, and it's actually kind of nice in just these kind of little small amounts. It's really kind of a strong taste, but a little bit will help with the flavor of the goat. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on top. Give this one more quick toss. Ooh, somebody escaped. And there we go. There's some goat meat rubbed with foraged and non-foraged spices that will marinate for a couple of days, and then we will slow cook it and serve with a little bit more foraged accompaniment.